Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. Every day we are faced with challenges, setbacks, and criticism. It's easy to let these external forces determine how we feel and how we react. Whether it's a negative comment, an unexpected failure, or a stressful situation, we often allow these moments to control our emotions and actions. But what if you could change that? What if you could learn to remain unfazed, calm, and in control, no matter what life throws your way? The truth is, the most unshakable individuals aren't the ones who face fewer problems. They are simply the ones who've mastered how to respond to them. Instead of reacting emotionally, they choose to remain composed, taking control of their reactions and ultimately their lives. Imagine walking through life without overthinking every situation, without letting small frustrations consume your energy, and without giving away your power to things that don't matter in the long run. This is the art of acting as if nothing bothers you. Today I'm going to teach you how to train your mind to act as if nothing bothers you. We'll explore how to cultivate emotional resilience, detach from external circumstances, and regain control over your reactions. This isn't about suppressing your feelings, it's about mastering them. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I guide you through how to unlock the strength that lies within you. By the end of this session, you'll understand how to walk through life with unshakable confidence, no longer at the mercy of external events, but instead empowered to take charge of your own emotions and responses. Let's dive in. Number 1, mastering the nothing bothers me mindset. Life is filled with distractions, challenges, and setbacks. From the constant stream of opinions and criticisms from others to the unexpected obstacles that arise at every corner. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, but here's the truth. The key to becoming unshakable isn't about avoiding these challenges, it's about how you respond to them. The greatest strength comes from mastering the art of detachment, learning to remain unaffected no matter what happens around you. Think of the strongest individuals you know. Are they the ones who react impulsively to every comment, every disappointment, and every setback? Or are they the ones who remain calm, composed, and collected no matter what chaos surrounds them? The most resilient people in the world are those who understand that external events cannot dictate their internal state. They refuse to let anything disturb their peace of mind. Take a moment to reflect. How often do you let the opinions of others, the stress of your day, or the mistakes you've made dictate your mood? When you act emotionally to these external events, you give away your power. You allow things beyond your control to shape your day, your energy, and even your life. But when you adopt the nothing bothers me mindset, you take that power back. This mindset isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending to be unaffected. It's about choosing how you respond. Imagine a situation where someone insults you. Most people would react with anger, frustration, or the need to defend themselves. But when you act as if nothing bothers you, you smile, walk away, or simply don't engage. The power is in the non-reaction. You rob the other person of their influence over you, and you walk away stronger, more composed, and completely in control. When you train your mind to detach from the world's distractions, you become the master of your own emotions. Instead of reacting impulsively, you choose your response with intention. This is true power, the ability to remain calm and focused no matter what's happening around you. People will begin to respect you not because you seek approval or validation, but because you exude a presence that commands respect. Mastering this mindset takes practice. It requires you to pause before reacting, to observe your emotions, and to ask yourself whether this situation truly impacts your long-term goals. By consistently choosing non-reaction, you build mental resilience and emotional control. Over time, you will find that external events no longer have the power to disturb your inner peace. You become the calm in the storm, and with that calm comes unmatched strength. Number 2, the superpower of emotional detachment. One of the most powerful tools you can possess in life is emotional detachment. Let's be clear. Emotional detachment doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or becoming indifferent to the world around you. Rather, it means learning to control your emotions, not letting them control you. When you master emotional detachment, you free yourself from the negative influences of external circumstances and gain the ability to stay calm, composed, and focused, no matter what challenges life throws at you. Consider how most people respond to situations. When someone criticizes them, they become defensive. When they experience failure, they get discouraged. When frustration or disappointment arises, they allow those emotions to control their actions. However, the strongest individuals don't fall prey to emotional impulses. They step back, evaluate, and choose how to respond with intention and purpose. Emotional detachment allows them to rise above the noise and make decisions based on logic, not emotions. Take Steve Jobs as an example. Jobs revolutionized the tech industry with Apple, but he faced intense criticism and numerous failures throughout his career. In fact, he was once fired from Apple, the very company he founded. Most people in that situation would have felt angry, bitter, and defeated, but Jobs didn't let his emotions control his actions. Instead of allowing frustration to derail him, he used that setback as fuel to drive him forward. Jobs stepped back, reconnected with his vision, and returned to Apple, ultimately turning the company into a powerhouse. His emotional detachment allowed him to stay focused on his goals rather than reacting impulsively to setbacks and failures. What made Steve Jobs so successful was not just his innovative ideas, but his ability to detach from the negative emotions that would have stopped most people in their tracks. He didn't internalize criticism or let failure define his self-worth. Instead, he stayed grounded and focused on what mattered, his vision for the future. Jobs didn't allow emotional reactions to cloud his judgment. He understood that by controlling his emotions, he could make strategic decisions that led to long-term success. Emotional detachment allows you to make decisions based on clarity, logic, and long-term vision, rather than being driven by impulsive reactions. When you detach emotionally from a situation, you can view it objectively without letting anger, frustration, or fear distort your perspective. This shift from being reactive to being proactive is what sets apart those who let their emotions rule them from those who take control of their lives and decisions. Emotions, when unchecked, can often distort our perception of reality. When we react emotionally, we might make rash decisions that we later regret. But by practicing emotional detachment, we can step outside of ourselves and observe our feelings without letting them dictate our actions. This space between the stimulus, the situation, and our response allows us to make decisions from a place of clarity, free from the influence of fleeting emotions. It's important to understand that emotional detachment is not about avoiding your feelings or becoming cold-hearted. Instead, it's about acknowledging your emotions, understanding them, and choosing how to respond. You can experience anger or frustration, but you don't have to let those emotions dictate your actions. Emotions pass. But when you maintain control, they don't have the power to derail your progress. Building emotional detachment is a skill that develops over time. It starts with mindfulness. Whenever you feel strong emotions rising, pause and acknowledge them. Ask yourself, is this reaction necessary? Does this situation require me to react emotionally? More often than not, you'll find that many things that cause us emotional distress are actually not as significant as they seem in the moment. By learning to recognize when emotions are taking over, you can step back, regain control, and choose your response. Another powerful way to cultivate emotional detachment is through meditation. Meditation helps you observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing you to separate yourself from your reactions. This practice strengthens your ability to maintain a calm, centered state, regardless of the chaos happening around you. By practicing emotional detachment, you also build resilience. Life's challenges are inevitable, but your ability to remain composed in the face of adversity will determine your success. Detaching emotionally allows you to adapt to changes more easily, learn from mistakes, and keep moving forward. Instead of letting failure define you, you use it as an opportunity to grow stronger. Ultimately, emotional detachment empowers you to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. You stop being a slave to your emotions and start mastering them. When you control your emotional reactions, nothing, be it criticism, failure, or setbacks, has the power to disrupt your peace. You become unshakable, not because nothing bothers you, but because you've learned to act as if nothing does. Number 3, the freedom of not seeking approval. One of the most limiting things we can do in life is constantly seek the approval of others. This need for validation can drive us to make decisions that aren't in line with our true selves, simply because we're afraid of what others might think. It's easy to get caught up in the desire to be liked, to fit in, or to live up to the expectations of those around us. But here's the reality. When we focus too much on pleasing others, we lose touch with our authentic selves. And in the process, we give away our personal power. The idea of not seeking approval might sound foreign, but it's the key to living a life of true freedom. Think about successful, influential individuals in history. Did they become great because they spent their time trying to meet the expectations of others? Or did they succeed because they were unapologetically themselves, regardless of public opinion? Take Audrey Hepburn, for example. Hepburn was a fashion icon, actress, and philanthropist who became one of the most admired women in the world. Yet despite her fame, she was never driven by the need for external approval. She stayed true to her own values, beliefs, and sense of style, never changing herself to fit into Hollywood's mold. Hepburn's success wasn't because she sought to be loved or admired by everyone. It was because she embraced who she was and lived her life with authenticity. Her true power came from the fact that she didn't seek validation. She created it from within. When you stop seeking approval from others, you free yourself to make decisions based on what is best for you, not based on what others expect or desire. This mindset shift is incredibly empowering. You no longer feel the need to change who you are to fit in, and you stop measuring your worth based on others' opinions of you. The moment you let go of the need for validation, you step into your own power. But why is seeking approval so damaging to your personal growth? When we're constantly looking for validation, we become reliant on others for our self-esteem. This creates a vicious cycle. We seek approval, we get it or we don't. And either way, our worth becomes tied to external sources. Over time, this makes us feel disconnected from ourselves, and we lose the ability to make decisions from a place of inner strength. We stop trusting our own instincts and start looking for external confirmation. This is where emotional detachment comes into play. Once you detach from the need for approval, you can begin to trust your own judgment and make decisions that are in alignment with your true values. You no longer worry about how others will perceive you. You stop asking, "What will people think?" and instead start asking, "What is best for me?" And this shift in perspective is incredibly freeing. Consider the life of Coco Chanel, another powerful woman who didn't seek the approval of others. Chanel revolutionized the fashion industry with her timeless designs, but she didn't follow trends or seek the approval of critics. She simply followed her instincts and did what felt right to her. Chanel's success came not from conforming to industry standards, but from breaking away from them and creating a new path. She made her own rules and stuck to them, never letting others dictate how she should think, dress, or act. When you start practicing the freedom of not seeking approval, you begin to embrace who you are with all your strengths, weaknesses, and quirks. You stop hiding behind masks and start showing the world the real you. The more you stop caring about others' opinions, the more you'll find that the right people will respect and admire you for your authenticity. This doesn't mean that you should disregard the feedback of others or live a life of isolation. There's a difference between being open to constructive feedback and letting the opinions of others define your life. You should listen to those who genuinely want to help you grow and improve. But when it comes to the superficial judgments of others, you can choose not to give them the power to affect you. Imagine the power you would have if you could let go of the constant need for approval. You could make decisions based on your own values, pursue goals that truly matter to you, and live a life that reflects who you really are. You wouldn't waste energy trying to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. Instead, you would live your life with confidence, knowing that your self-worth comes from within. So how do you begin to practice this freedom? Start by paying attention to moments when you're seeking validation. Notice when you are adjusting your behavior, your appearance, or your actions to please someone else. The next time this happens, stop and ask yourself, Am I doing this because it's true to me, or because I want someone else to approve of me? The more you ask yourself this question, the easier it will become to recognize when you're giving away your power. When you stop seeking approval, you take back control over your life. You stop letting others dictate your happiness, and you start living for yourself. This is the freedom that comes from embracing your true self, and no longer depending on the opinions of others to validate your worth. And once you experience that freedom, you'll realize that nothing can ever make you feel small again. Number 4, turning criticism into fuel for growth. Criticism is something we all encounter at some point in our lives. It's inevitable, whether it comes from friends, family, colleagues, or even strangers. The sting of harsh words can be hard to ignore. But here's the reality. Criticism doesn't have to be something that diminishes your self-worth or stops you in your tracks. In fact, when handled correctly, criticism can be one of the most powerful tools for personal growth and success. The problem with criticism is that most people take it personally. They allow negative feedback to define their value or determine their next steps. They react emotionally, often feeling defensive, hurt, or discouraged. However, the individuals who rise above their circumstances understand that criticism isn't an attack on their character. It's simply feedback on their actions, their work, or their ideas. And when approached with the right mindset, criticism can be a stepping stone to improvement. Let's take the example of Walt Disney. Disney faced rejection and harsh criticism throughout his career. Early on, he was told that he lacked creativity, that his ideas would never succeed, and that he'd never amount to anything. But rather than being crushed by these negative comments, Disney used them as fuel for his imagination and determination. Instead of internalizing the rejection, he focused on improving his work, pushing forward with a vision that was unique to him. What the critics saw as flaws, Disney saw as opportunities for innovation. He didn't let their opinions hold him back. He let them motivate him to work harder and smarter. Today, Disney's legacy is one of the most recognized and admired brands in the world. What's the key takeaway here? Disney understood that criticism, whether constructive or destructive, was not a reflection of his worth. Instead, he viewed it as a valuable learning opportunity. He didn't let his critics define him, but rather he took their feedback and used it to grow stronger, to refine his skills, and to prove them wrong. This is a powerful mindset shift. When you stop seeing criticism as an attack on your personal identity and start seeing it as an opportunity for improvement, you unlock the door to continuous growth. The first step in turning criticism into fuel is emotional detachment. As we've discussed earlier, emotional detachment is about separating your sense of self from external events. Criticism is one of those external events. It's important to recognize that when someone criticizes you, they're commenting on something you've done or said, not on who you are as a person. When you separate your actions from your identity, you can view criticism objectively rather than emotionally. This allows you to take a step back, evaluate the feedback, and decide whether it's worth implementing into your life. Next, it's essential to approach criticism with an open mind. Instead of immediately dismissing it or getting defensive, ask yourself, is there truth in what this person is saying? Is there something here I can learn from? Constructive criticism is meant to help you improve. And even if the delivery isn't ideal, there's usually something valuable you can take away from it. The key is to listen, reflect, and then decide how to act on it. This mindset enables you to approach criticism not as a negative experience, but as an opportunity to grow and evolve. One person who mastered the art of using criticism to fuel growth is Thomas Edison. Edison is often quoted for his resilience, especially in the face of failure. He encountered countless rejections and failures on his journey to invent the light bulb, and he received plenty of criticism along the way. But rather than being discouraged, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each piece of criticism, each failure, became a lesson. Edison didn't let criticism derail his progress. Instead, he used it to refine his approach, learn from his mistakes, and ultimately revolutionize the world. In order to use criticism to your advantage, you also need to practice self-awareness. Take a moment to reflect on how you react when you're criticized. Are you quick to get defensive or dismiss the feedback? Or are you open to hearing the perspective of others? The more you practice self-awareness, the better equipped you'll be to take criticism in stride and use it as a tool for personal growth. Self-awareness allows you to differentiate between constructive criticism that can help you grow and destructive criticism that isn't worth your time or energy. Finally, remember that criticism doesn't define your success or failure. Success is built on perseverance, learning, and growth, and criticism is simply a tool to help you navigate that process. By using criticism as an opportunity to assess and improve yourself, you stay focused on your goals, and you prevent external opinions from derailing your progress. The key takeaway here is that criticism can be a powerful tool for growth when you learn how to use it effectively. Rather than allowing criticism to bring you down, choose to view it as feedback that can propel you forward. Just like Walt Disney and Thomas Edison, use criticism as a catalyst for improvement. When you master this mindset, you'll find that no amount of criticism can stop your progress. You'll continue to evolve, grow, and thrive. Number 5. Remaining composed under pressure. Pressure is something everyone experiences in life. It comes in many forms: the stress of a looming deadline, the anxiety of public speaking, the strain of a difficult conversation, or the tension of making an important decision. While some people thrive under pressure, others crumble or become overwhelmed. The difference between these two responses often comes down to one key factor: how we handle pressure. Remaining composed under pressure isn't about avoiding stress or pretending that challenges don't affect us. It's about how we respond when the heat is on. The most successful individuals in the world are those who can stay calm, clear-headed, and in control. When the pressure is at its peak, they don't panic, they don't freeze, and they don't let the pressure cloud their judgment. Instead, they rise to the occasion, maintaining their composure and navigating through challenges with grace. Think about Winston Churchill during World War II. When Britain was at its most vulnerable, Churchill faced immense pressure. The future of his country was uncertain, and the world was watching to see how he would respond to the mounting challenges. But instead of succumbing to the weight of it all, Churchill stood firm, remained composed, and became a beacon of strength for his people. His ability to stay calm under pressure helped rally the British public and played a significant role in their eventual victory. Churchill's leadership was defined not just by his strategic brilliance, but by his unwavering composure in the face of tremendous pressure. So how can you develop the ability to remain composed when the pressure is on? The first step is understanding that pressure is a natural part of life. The more you resist or fear it, the more likely it is to overwhelm you. Instead of fighting against the pressure, embrace it as an inevitable aspect of life. Once you accept that pressure will come, and that it is something you can handle, you will be better equipped to face it head on. One powerful tool to help you remain composed under pressure is preparation. Think about athletes who perform under the brightest lights. They don't simply show up on game day and hope for the best. They train, they prepare, and they practice for the very moments that will test them. Likewise, in life, preparation is key. When you are well prepared for a situation, you are less likely to feel overwhelmed by pressure. Preparation gives you the confidence to handle whatever comes your way, because you've already done the hard work behind the scenes. Take the example of Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. Throughout her career, Williams has faced countless high-pressure moments, from championship matches to grueling 5-set battles. But what sets her apart is her ability to stay composed when the pressure is highest. In her matches, you'll often see her taking deep breaths, staying focused, and maintaining a calm demeanor, even when the stakes are enormous. Williams' ability to perform under pressure is not the result of chance. It's the outcome of her preparation, her mental discipline, and her focus. Another key aspect of staying composed under pressure is emotional regulation. When pressure mounts, it's easy to become anxious, frustrated, or overwhelmed. However, emotions can cloud your judgment, and cause you to make rash decisions. To remain composed, you must learn to regulate your emotions. This can be done through simple practices like deep breathing, mindfulness, or taking a step back to gain perspective. When you feel the pressure building, take a moment to pause and collect yourself. Deep breathing exercises, for example, can help lower your heart rate and clear your mind, enabling you to think more clearly and respond more strategically. By training yourself to pause before reacting, you give yourself the space to process the situation and choose the best course of action. This simple practice of emotional regulation can make all the difference in high-pressure situations. Let's look at a real-world example: the calmness exhibited by astronauts during space missions. Astronauts undergo rigorous training to prepare for the physical and mental challenges they will face in space. When things go wrong, such as equipment failures, unexpected obstacles, or emergencies, they must remain calm and focused. Their training teaches them how to handle pressure without panicking, ensuring they can make the best decisions under extreme stress. This ability to stay composed, despite the life or death stakes, is a direct result of their preparation, emotional regulation, and mental fortitude. Remaining composed under pressure also requires a strong sense of purpose. When you know why you're doing something, when you are deeply connected to your goals and values, the pressure you feel becomes more manageable. Purpose provides clarity and direction, helping you stay focused on what matters most. When pressure mounts, it can be easy to lose sight of your bigger picture, but a strong sense of purpose anchors you, reminding you of why you're pushing through the challenges. So when the pressure is on, how do you ensure that you remain composed? It starts with embracing pressure as a part of life, preparing for it through practice and training, regulating your emotions, and staying connected to your purpose. The more you practice these strategies, the more natural it will become to stay calm under stress. Pressure will always be a part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. When you master the art of staying composed under pressure, you gain the ability to face challenges with confidence and poise. No matter how intense the situation becomes, you become unshakable. And just like Winston Churchill or Serena Williams, you'll learn to rise to the occasion, no matter how high the stakes. Number 6. Letting go of what you can't control. In life, there are things we can control and things we can't. The ability to distinguish between the two is essential for maintaining inner peace and emotional resilience. Unfortunately, many of us spend a significant portion of our time and energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Whether it's worrying about the future, dwelling on the past, or stressing over things outside our influence, this constant struggle only leads to frustration and unnecessary suffering. True strength lies in the ability to let go of what you cannot control and focus your energy on what you can. The truth is, life is unpredictable. Things don't always go according to plan. People will disappoint you, situations will fall apart, and unexpected obstacles will arise. But while we can't control the events that unfold around us, we can control how we respond to them. When you learn to accept that some things are beyond your influence, you free yourself from the mental and emotional burden of trying to control the uncontrollable. This is where true emotional strength lies. Take, for example, the life of Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi faced numerous challenges in his fight for India's independence, many of which were beyond his control. He was arrested, persecuted, and faced immense opposition from the British Empire. Yet Gandhi never allowed these circumstances to deter him. He didn't waste energy trying to control the outcome of every situation or force others to follow his path. Instead, he embraced the concept of nonviolent resistance, which allowed him to focus on what he could control: his own actions, beliefs, and responses to adversity. He didn't fight against the inevitable. He moved with it, adapting to the circumstances with grace and wisdom. His ability to let go of what he couldn't control and focus on his own actions became one of the driving forces behind India's eventual independence. One of the most liberating aspects of letting go of what you can't control is the reduction in stress. When we let go of the need to control everything, we stop fighting against reality. Stress often arises when we resist what is happening in the present moment. wishing things were different or trying to force a particular outcome. But the moment we accept that we can't control every aspect of life, we shift from resistance to acceptance. This doesn't mean we give up on our goals or aspirations. It simply means that we stop stressing over factors beyond our control and focus on the things we can influence. For instance, imagine it's incredibly hard for a promotion at work, only to find out that someone else got the position instead. It's natural to feel disappointed, frustrated, or even angry. But dwelling on the outcome won't change anything. It won't help you get the promotion, and it won't make you feel any better. What you can control, however, is how you respond. You can choose to take the feedback from the situation, learn from it, and continue working towards your goal. You can let go of the disappointment and use it as motivation to improve. In doing so, you free yourself from the grip of frustration and regain control over your future. This same principle applies to other areas of life, such as relationships. Often we try to control the behavior of others or manipulate situations to our advantage. But the reality is, we can't control how others feel, act, or think. People are autonomous individuals, and their actions are influenced by their own thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Trying to control someone else will only lead to frustration, resentment, and conflict. Instead, focus on controlling your own behavior and reactions. By letting go of the need to control others, you create space for healthier, more authentic relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. In addition to reducing stress, letting go of what you can't control also fosters greater resilience. Life is full of setbacks and failures. When we face these challenges, it's easy to fall into a victim mindset, believing that things are happening to us or that we're powerless to change our circumstances. But when we let go of the need to control everything, we shift our perspective. We stop seeing setbacks as failures and start seeing them as opportunities to learn, grow, and adapt. We understand that while we may not be able to control the outcome, we can always control our response and how we move forward. Take the example of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before her immense success, Rowling faced rejection after rejection from publishers. At one point, she was living as a single mother, struggling to make ends meet. But rather than focusing on the rejection or letting it define her, she chose to keep writing and submitting her work. She couldn't control the opinions of publishers or the outcome of her submissions, but she could control her own perseverance and dedication to her craft. Eventually, her persistence paid off, and she became one of the most successful authors in history. Rowling's story is a testament to the power of letting go of what you can't control and focusing on what you can. To practice letting go, start by identifying the areas of your life where you're trying to exert control over things beyond your influence. Ask yourself, is this something I can truly change, or is it something I need to accept? Recognize that there are factors in life that are simply out of your hands, and allow yourself to release the desire to control them. Once you do, you'll find that you have more energy and focus to devote to the things that truly matter, the things you can control. By learning to let go of what you can't control, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and stress. You create space for growth, resilience, and peace of mind. And when you do, you become stronger, more focused, and more equipped to navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. Number 7. The power of silence in action. In a world filled with constant noise, the power of silence is often overlooked. We're surrounded by chatter, social media posts, and endless conversations. But silence used strategically can be one of the powerful tools in your life. Silence doesn't mean disengaging or refusing to communicate. It's about choosing when to speak and when to remain silent, allowing your actions and presence to speak louder than words ever could. Silence can be particularly powerful during moments of tension or conflict. In these situations, the natural impulse is to react quickly, whether with anger, frustration, or an immediate defense. But sometimes, choosing silence gives you control. It shifts the power dynamic and allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Take Rosa Parks, for example. In 1955, when she refused to give up her seat on a segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama. She could have responded with anger or violence. But Parks chose silence, making a simple, yet profound act of defiance. Her refusal to react the way society expected became a powerful statement against racial segregation. It wasn't the words she spoke, but the power of her action amplified by her calm silence in the face of injustice. Using silence strategically can also enhance your influence in everyday life. Consider how people respond when someone doesn't feel the need to dominate a conversation. Instead of filling the air with words, they remain composed, choosing to speak thoughtfully when necessary. This kind of silence can create an air of mystery and authority, making others more likely to listen when you do choose to speak. The more you talk, the more people tend to tune you out. But when you speak less, people pay closer attention. A great example of silence used effectively is Warren Buffett. Known for his calm demeanor, Buffett is a legendary investor who has built his success not through grandiose speeches, but by letting his actions and results speak for themselves. When Buffett is in a meeting, he listens carefully, allowing others to speak first. His silence in those moments provides him with an advantage. He's able to gather information and assess situations before speaking, making his responses more calculated and impactful. Silence is also powerful in moments of criticism or insult. Our first instinct might be to defend ourselves or argue back, but reacting impulsively often gives others more power over us. By remaining silent, you take back control. This was evident in the leadership of the Dalai Lama, who faced criticism and hostility during his years of exile. Rather than reacting with anger or resentment, he used silence to maintain his dignity and focus on his mission. His quiet strength has inspired millions, proving that silence can be a powerful form of resistance. Another strength of silence is its ability to create space for reflection. In our fast-paced lives, we rarely take the time to pause and truly reflect. Yet silence provides the mental stillness necessary for clarity and deep thinking. It allows you to process information, make thoughtful decisions, and maintain emotional balance. Without this space for reflection, our minds become cluttered, leading to hasty decisions and unnecessary stress. The key to harnessing the power of silence is learning to practice restraint. In any given situation, ask yourself, do I need to speak right now? It's important to recognize moments when silence can be more impactful than words. The more you practice this restraint, the more you'll find that your silence can be a powerful form of control, giving you influence over situations and creating space for deeper connection. Silence is not about disengagement. It's a powerful tool for influence, control, and reflection. When you master the art of silence, you gain the ability to communicate more effectively, make decisions more thoughtfully, and project an unshakable presence. In a world filled with noise, silence becomes the ultimate strength. Number 8. Training your mind for calmness. In life, challenges and setbacks are inevitable. But how you respond to them is what truly defines you. The ability to remain calm in the face of adversity is not something that happens by chance. It's a skill that must be developed. The more you train your mind to stay composed under stress, the easier it becomes to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. Training your mind for calmness allows you to act with clarity, make better decisions, and maintain emotional control, even in the most difficult situations. One of the first steps in training your mind for calmness is understanding that it's not about suppressing your emotions. Emotions are natural, and they can provide valuable information about what's happening around you. However, when you allow your emotions to dictate your actions, you lose control. To remain calm, you must learn to acknowledge your emotions without being consumed by them. This allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. A key tool in training your mind for calmness is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you practice mindfulness, you create a mental space between yourself and your reactions. This space allows you to pause before acting, giving you the opportunity to choose your response rather than being driven by emotions. Mindfulness helps you detach from stressors and find inner peace, even in the midst of chaos. Take the example of an athlete preparing for a big game. The pressure and intensity of the moment can easily overwhelm even the most skilled competitors. However, those who are truly successful don't let the pressure dictate their performance. Instead, they train their minds to stay focused and composed under pressure. They practice breathing techniques, visualize success, and stay present in the moment. By training their minds for calmness, they can block out distractions, stay focused on their goals, and perform at their best. Another essential aspect of mental calmness is developing emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, disappointments, and failures without being knocked off course. It's about understanding that failure is a part of the journey and that challenges are opportunities for growth. When you train your mind to view setbacks as temporary and manageable, you become more resilient and better equipped to handle difficult situations. A great example of emotional resilience is the life of Thomas Edison. Edison faced countless failures and rejections on his path to inventing the light bulb. Yet he never allowed these setbacks to break his spirit. Instead, he viewed every failure as a lesson learned. His mindset was rooted in the belief that failure was simply part of the process, and he persisted until he succeeded. Edison's resilience and ability to stay calm in the face of repeated failure is a testament to the power of a focused, calm mindset. Another way to train your mind for calmness is through self-discipline. The more disciplined you are in your daily habits, the stronger your mental fortitude becomes. Self-discipline is about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. About sticking to your commitments, maintaining focus, and staying grounded in your goals. When you consistently practice self-discipline, you build a sense of control and purpose that allows you to remain calm, even in high-stress situations. For example, successful leaders like Barack Obama are known for their ability to remain composed under pressure. During his presidency, Obama faced numerous crises, from economic challenges to international conflicts. But he consistently demonstrated mental calmness by staying focused on the big picture, considering all options, and making thoughtful decisions. His ability to maintain clarity in the midst of chaos allowed him to navigate difficult situations with confidence and poise. Finally, remember that training your mind for calmness is a continuous process. Just as physical fitness requires regular exercise, mental fitness requires regular practice. The more you work on your mental clarity and emotional control, the easier it becomes to stay calm in stressful situations. Simple daily practices like meditation, deep breathing, or journaling can help you strengthen your mental resilience. Over time, these practices become second nature, allowing you to approach life's challenges with a sense of calm and control. In conclusion, training your mind for calmness is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. By practicing mindfulness, building emotional resilience, and fostering self-discipline, you can cultivate a mindset that remains unshaken in the face of adversity. When you master the art of calmness, you gain the ability to think clearly, make better decisions, and maintain your inner peace, no matter what life throws your way. Number 9. Responding with purpose, not emotion. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to be swept away by our emotions. When faced with challenges or difficult situations, many of us react impulsively, letting anger, frustration, or fear drive our actions. However, true strength lies in responding with purpose, not emotion. The ability to pause, evaluate, and act with intention, rather than reacting emotionally, can make all the difference in how you navigate life's challenges and achieve your goals. When we react impulsively to situations, we give away our power. Emotional reactions often cloud our judgment, leading us to make hasty decisions that we may later regret. We may lash out in anger, make snap judgments out of fear, or act out of frustration when things don't go as planned. These reactions can damage relationships, derail our progress, and leave us feeling drained and regretful. But when we learn to respond with purpose, we regain control over our actions and ensure that we are making decisions that align with our goals and values. The key to responding with purpose is to create a space between the stimulus, the event or situation, and your response. This space allows you to process your emotions, assess the situation, and choose the most effective course of action. Instead of immediately reacting, take a moment to breathe, reflect, and gather your thoughts. In that brief pause, you gain the power to decide how you want to respond, rather than being controlled by your emotions. One great example of responding with purpose is the life of Nelson Mandela. Mandela spent 27 years in prison for his fight against apartheid in South Africa. During his time behind bars, he faced numerous injustices and challenges, but he never allowed his anger or bitterness to consume him. Instead, he responded with purpose. When he was released and became South Africa's first black president, he focused on reconciliation rather than revenge. Mandela knew that in order to create a peaceful, united country, he needed to rise above the emotional impulses of anger and resentment. His ability to respond with purpose, instead of reacting emotionally, helped heal a nation and led to a legacy of leadership and peace. Another important factor in responding with purpose is understanding the bigger picture. Often we get caught up in the immediate stress of a situation and lose sight of our long-term goals. When we react emotionally, we may address the immediate issue without considering its long-term consequences. Responding with purpose requires us to step back and evaluate how our actions will affect our future. Ask yourself, will this decision move me closer to my goals? Is my reaction aligned with my values? This ability to think beyond the moment and consider the bigger picture is what separates impulsive actions from purposeful responses. Take the example of a professional in the workplace facing criticism from a colleague or manager. The natural emotional response might be to become defensive, argue back, or even shut down. But when you respond with purpose, you take a moment to reflect on the feedback. You listen, assess the situation, and then decide how to best use the criticism to improve your performance. Responding with purpose allows you to remain open to growth and development, rather than being blinded by the emotional response of defensiveness. Additionally, responding with purpose allows you to maintain your integrity, no matter the circumstances. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, especially when others are provoking you or pressuring you to react a certain way. But when you act with purpose, you remain true to your values and make decisions that align with your principles. This creates a strong foundation of self-respect and builds trust with others, because people will begin to respect you for your composure and your ability to act with intention, even in difficult situations. So how do you train yourself to respond with purpose rather than emotion? It starts with self-awareness. Recognize when you're about to react emotionally and consciously choose to pause before responding. You can practice techniques such as deep breathing, mindfulness, or even taking a step away from the situation to collect your thoughts. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to maintain emotional control and act with purpose. Another helpful strategy is to cultivate a mindset of long-term thinking. When faced with a challenging situation, ask yourself how your response will impact your future. Will your reaction help you achieve your goals or derail your progress? By constantly reminding yourself of the bigger picture, you can prevent emotional reactions from taking over. Ultimately, responding with purpose instead of emotion gives you the power to navigate life's challenges with clarity and confidence. You regain control of your reactions, allowing you to make decisions that are thoughtful, intentional, and aligned with your values. By practicing this skill, you move through life with greater resilience, understanding that your response is what shapes your future, not the situation itself. Number 10, mastering the art of moving in silence. In a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, there is incredible power in remaining silent. People often think that making noise, drawing attention to themselves, and speaking loudly is the key to success. But true power doesn't need to announce itself. It moves in silence, allowing actions to speak louder than words. Mastering the art of moving in silence is about understanding that actions and results are far more powerful than any words you can say. It's about being strategic, intentional, and letting your success speak for itself. One of the most common mistakes people make is speaking too much about their plans and ambitions. The more you talk, the more you expose yourself to doubt, scrutiny, and unnecessary distractions. When you constantly share your goals, others start to expect things from you. They may offer opinions, expectations, or even doubts that can derail your progress. But when you move in silence, you keep your focus on the work at hand. You don't need to tell the world what you're doing, you just do it and let the results speak for themselves. Take the example of Leonardo da Vinci, a man whose influence still resonates today. Da Vinci didn't speak loudly about his genius or ambitions. He let his art, inventions, and discoveries do the talking. His work was groundbreaking and spoke volumes, but it wasn't born out of a desire to be recognized or applauded. Da Vinci simply focused on mastering his craft, staying quietly committed to his work, and letting his results showcase his brilliance. Today, his legacy is undeniable, and his success is a testament to the power of silence. Moving in silence also protects you from the distractions and negative energy that often accompany public declarations. The moment you start talking about your plans, you open yourself up to others' opinions, some of which may not align with your vision. These distractions can cause you to second-guess yourself, lose focus, or waste time defending your choices. By keeping your ambitions to yourself and letting your actions do the talking, you avoid unnecessary interference and maintain a laser-sharp focus on your goals. Take the example of a successful entrepreneur like Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks. Schultz transformed Starbucks from a small Seattle coffee shop into a global brand. However, his journey wasn't filled with public boasts or announcements of his plans. Instead, he quietly focused on the work building a brand, creating a culture, and ensuring the quality of the product. Schultz did not need to tell everyone what he was planning. His actions and results spoke for themselves. Today, Starbucks is one of the most recognized brands in the world, and Schultz's success is a direct result of his quiet, focused approach to his goals. Silence is also a strategic tool in negotiations and high-stakes situations. Think of the world's greatest leaders, diplomats, and negotiators. Many of them master the art of speaking only when absolutely necessary. They understand that silence creates space for others to reveal their intentions, weaknesses, and desires. In a conversation or negotiation, when you remain silent, the other party often feels the pressure to fill the space, revealing more than they intended. This gives you an advantage because you gather more information, allowing you to make better decisions. Consider the way some of the most influential business leaders, such as Warren Buffett, operate. Buffett has built an empire by staying mostly out of the public eye and letting his investments speak for themselves. He is known for saying little about his next move, preferring instead to focus on his strategy and act quietly behind the scenes. This approach has earned him respect and authority, as people understand that his results are far more important than any words he could speak. His focus is on the process and outcome, not the noise surrounding it. Moving in silence isn't about being secretive or dishonest. It's about focusing on the work and letting the results talking. It's about not feeling the need to prove yourself to others or constantly seek validation. When you master this art, you become a force of quiet strength, one whose actions command respect without demanding attention. Your results will eventually speak for themselves, and those who matter will take notice. To truly master the art of moving in silence, practice restraint. Avoid the temptation to constantly announce your next move or seek external validation. Keep your eyes on the prize, and let your work and accomplishments speak for themselves. This doesn't mean you should hide your achievements completely, but rather that you should let them grow organically and let others notice your success in due time. In the end, the most successful people are those who focus on the work, not the applause. They let their results speak for themselves, knowing that true power comes from action, not words. Mastering the art of moving in silence is about working quietly, staying focused, and letting your accomplishments tell the world who you are. And when you do, nothing can stop you. Throughout this journey, we've explored the power of mastering the mindset that nothing bothers you. We've discussed how to cultivate emotional resilience, detach from external circumstances, and respond with calm and purpose in every situation. As we wrap up, let's reflect on the most important takeaway. The ability to control your reactions and maintain your peace, no matter the external chaos, is one of the most empowering skills you can develop. Life will always throw challenges at you. Setbacks, criticisms, disappointments, and even failures. However, how you respond to these challenges determines your success, happiness, and inner peace. By learning to act as if nothing bothers you, you regain control over your life. You stop letting the opinions, expectations, or negative events of the world around you determine your emotional state. Instead, you master your emotions, control your reactions, and take deliberate, purposeful action. Mastering this mindset is a process that takes time and practice. It requires self-awareness, emotional detachment, and the ability to pause and reflect before reacting. It means embracing the silence, focusing on your goals, and not letting distractions pull you off course. Whether in moments of stress, criticism, or pressure, the key is to respond from a place of calm and intention. As you continue on your path, remember that the world will respect you when you remain unshaken. People will admire your composure, your confidence, and your ability to stay focused, even in the face of adversity. This kind of strength doesn't come from avoiding problems or pretending they don't exist. It comes from choosing how you react, from taking control of your inner world, and from trusting yourself to move through life with purpose and resilience. So embrace the practice of acting as if nothing bothers you. Let go of the need for approval, turn criticism into fuel, and respond to life's challenges with grace. As you do, you'll find that nothing, not the obstacles, setbacks, or opinions of others, can disturb your peace or derail your progress. With this unshakable mindset, you'll navigate life's storms with strength, clarity, and confidence, moving closer every day to the person you're meant to be.